The Adventures of Awesome N. Catchy title. Now, before everybody starts calling me the villain here, let me just say this. If a man builds a giant robot dinosaur during a thunderstorm, that sounds less like a crime and more like a public service. Chapter 1. Cool Never Goes Extinct. Narrated by yours truly, Cool Chris. You ever notice how museums smell like frozen time? Dust, waxed floors, ancient bones, tiny gift shop pencils nobody buys, whole buildings dedicated to dead stuff. Now don't get me wrong, dinosaurs are awesome. Giant lizards stomping around like nature forgot to install an off switch? That's peak creativity right there. But museums? Museums take creatures that once shook the earth and turn them into field trips. That bothered me, deeply. So there I stood inside the Albuquerque Dinosaur Museum after closing hours, blue coat flowing dramatically because I practiced that in the mirror beforehand, staring up at the massive Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton hanging over the main exhibit hall. 39 feet of prehistoric perfection. And all day long, people walked past it holding juice boxes. Tragic. I adjusted my shades and smiled. "Don't worry, big guy," I whispered. "Cool Chris is about to fix your image." Outside, rain tapped softly against the museum windows while city lights flickered across the polished floors. Somewhere downtown, traffic hummed through the night. Albuquerque never really sleeps. It just lowers the volume a little. I pulled a glowing blue device from my coat pocket, magnet core stabilizer, one of several pieces I'd collected over the last month. Well, collected sounds nicer than stolen. The news definitely preferred the second word. Every screen in the city was talking about missing tech, energy converters, transmitter coils, military-grade batteries, experimental magnetic processors. Personally, I thought they should have been more impressed. Do you know how hard it is to steal a prototype reactor without wrinkling your jacket? Very. Across the museum floor, a volunteer guided the last group of kids toward the exit. Her name tag simply read "In." She wore the museum volunteer badge like she actually enjoyed explaining things to people. Kids followed her around like she was some kind of dinosaur wizard. "And this," she said cheerfully, pointing upward, "is the T-Rex, one of the most powerful predators in Earth's history." One little boy gasped. I nodded proudly from the shadows. Exactly. Then she added, "But luckily for us, they've been extinct for millions of years." I frowned. See, that attitude right there. No vision. The kids disappeared through the front doors while In stayed behind collecting pamphlets from a bench. She moved quickly, focused, observant. Too observant. At one point, she glanced toward the shadows where I stood hidden behind a fossil display. I froze. She squinted slightly. I casually pretended to examine a Triceratops information plaque. Very convincing performance. Finally, she shrugged and went back to work. Close one. I waited until the museum lights dimmed into nighttime mode before moving deeper into the exhibit hall. Blue reflections shimmered across the polished floor beneath my boots. Then I opened the metal case. Inside rested the centerpiece of my plan, the Neuromagnetic Rex Driver. Catchy name, right? The device pulsed with electric blue light as tiny currents crackled across its surface. This wasn't just about stealing a skeleton. No. This city needed spectacle, fear, wonder, style. And I was about to give Albuquerque all three. I climbed the maintenance stairs beside the T-Rex display and connected the first magnetic anchor directly beneath the ribcage. The ancient bones rattled softly. I grinned. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Behind me, hidden security cameras suddenly tilted downward. Offline. My freeze virus had activated. One by one, the museum security systems shut down across the building. Lights dimmed, doors locked, sensors dead. The whole museum exhaled into silence. That's when I heard footsteps. I turned sharply. Anne stood at the end of the exhibit hall holding a clipboard. Her eyes narrowed. "You're not supposed to be up there." I smiled slowly. And dinosaurs weren't supposed to disappear. She took a cautious step forward. "What are you doing?" I spread my arms dramatically. "Improving history." Then I tapped the communicator in my ear. Instantly, hidden blue lights flickered alive throughout the museum ceiling. Mechanical sounds echoed overhead. Metal claws unfolded in the darkness. In looked upward just as my robotic raptor drones descended from the shadows. Her eyes widened. Now that was a reaction. I pointed upward proudly. "Meet the future." The drones hissed as their glowing blue eyes activated one by one. In slowly backed away. Smart move. "Okay," she said. "This feels extremely illegal." Illegal? This is innovation with personality. One drone landed beside the T-Rex skeleton and began scanning the support structure. The museum floor trembled slightly. Outside, thunder rolled across the city. Perfect timing. I stepped down from the platform and faced the towering skeleton again. "For too long," I said, "this city has looked backward at history." I turned toward her with a grin. "But tonight?" Blue energy illuminated the entire museum hall. History looks back. And somewhere behind those determined eyes of hers, I could already tell In wasn't done interfering. Not even close. Chapter 2. The Girl with the Purple Cape. There are moments in life when you realize things have become significantly more complicated. For example, discovering your freeze virus accidentally shut down the museum's snack machines, realizing robotic raptors can climb walls faster than expected, or watching a volunteer crash through a skylight dressed like a superhero. That last one really changes the evening. The museum exploded in shattered glass and moonlight. One second, my drones were carefully dismantling the T-Rex skeleton. The next, boom! Purple cape, yellow gloves, combat boots hitting the fossil platform hard enough to rattle the display cases. The entire museum froze. Even the drones paused. She stood there in the middle of drifting glass like she practiced dramatic entrances in her spare time. Which, honestly, respect. I blinked behind my blue shades. In? She pointed directly at me. "Volunteer hours are over." I stared for a solid 2 seconds, then burst out laughing. "You built a superhero outfit?" "It has pockets," she replied seriously. "Fair point." The nearest raptor drone hissed and lunged toward her. Bad decision. She grabbed a hanging rope from the pterosaur exhibit and swung sideways just as the drone crashed through a fossil display case. Glass shattered everywhere. The drone skidded across the floor. She landed smoothly atop a bench and pointed at me again. "You are in so much trouble." I placed a hand against my chest dramatically. Wow, hurtful. Then I snapped my fingers. All 6 raptor drones activated at once. Blue eyes glowing, metal claws clicking, tail servos whining through the darkness. The museum suddenly sounded like a blender full of knives. "Get her!" The drones charged. The girl in purple dove sideways as one leapt over her head and smashed into a wall-mounted triceratops skull. Another sprinted along the exhibit railing, while a third climbed directly up a support pillar like some kind of nightmare gecko. She moved fast, way faster than I expected. And annoyingly, she adapted quickly. One drone lunged. She yanked a display tarp loose and wrapped it around the drone's head. Another attacked from behind. She ducked, grabbed a fossil brush from a nearby workstation, and slammed it into the emergency fossil dust cleaner. Whoosh! A cloud of ancient dust blasted straight into the air. The drones immediately staggered. Their sensors flickered wildly. One slammed into a bench. Another hit a wall. A third somehow tackled a cardboard velociraptor standee. Embarrassing. I folded my arms. Okay, first of all, rude. The masked girl smirked beneath the cape. I paid attention during training. I narrowed my eyes. People actually listened during training? Another drone lunged toward her from above. She grabbed the hanging pterosaur model and swung across the exhibit hall while the drone crashed into the maintenance platform beneath her. Metal exploded in sparks. She landed directly in front of me. close enough now that I could see the confidence behind the mask. Not fear, not panic. Confidence. That was new. Most people confronted with weaponized robotic dinosaurs usually scream first. "You can still stop this," she said. I tilted my head. "And miss the coolest thing Albuquerque's ever seen?" She sighed. "You really call yourself Cool Chris out loud?" "Constantly." Then I pressed the activation button on my wrist controller. The museum lights turned electric blue. Every drone immediately stopped moving. The floor beneath the T-Rex skeleton vibrated. She looked upward. The support cables began retracting. The skull slowly lowered toward a reinforced transport platform hidden beneath the exhibit. Her eyes widened. No. Oh yes. The entire skeleton started shifting piece by piece as magnetic anchors locked into place. The room groaned with ancient weight. She sprinted toward the control panel. I stepped directly into her path. She swung. I ducked. Honestly, pretty impressive punch. Would have hurt too. But while she recovered, I hit the final command. Clank. The T-Rex skull locked into the transport rig. Success. I grinned so hard my cheeks hurt. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announced to absolutely nobody, "the future has arrived." She charged toward me again. Smart, determined, very annoying, but I was already backing toward the loading bay. The drones regrouped around me protectively while blue warning lights flashed across the museum ceiling. Outside, thunder cracked over the city. Perfect cinematic timing again. The universe clearly understood branding. She stopped near the shattered skylight and pointed at me. "You're not getting away with this." I slowly lifted the T-Rex skull control remote. Oh, I absolutely am. Then I stepped backward onto the transport lift as the massive skull disappeared into the darkness below. The drones retreated with me, metal claws scraping, blue eyes glowing. And just before the doors sealed shut, I gave her one final grin. "Catch me if you can." I pointed dramatically. "Awesome, N." The doors slammed closed. The lift descended. And somewhere above me, inside that wrecked museum, I had a feeling this story between me and Awesome N was just getting started. Chapter 3. Bone Tyrant Rising. There's a magical feeling that comes with standing on top of the skyscraper during a thunderstorm while assembling a robotic dinosaur skeleton using stolen magnetic technology. Very specific feeling. Very cool feeling. Downtown Albuquerque stretched beneath the tower in glowing rivers of headlights and neon signs while storm clouds rolled overhead like the universe itself was preparing for opening night. Blue lightning flickered across the city skyline. Perfect atmosphere. I stood atop the unfinished tower platform wearing my blue coat dramatically into the wind because, honestly, at that point the coat was doing at least 30% of the villain work. Below me, giant magnetic cranes slowly lifted the reconstructed T-Rex bones into position. Clank. Massive steel anchors locked around the ribs. Whirr. Energy conduits connected through the spine. The gigantic skull rose into place above the city streets while glowing blue energy pulsed through every mechanical support joint. It was beautiful, terrifying, extremely expensive, and worth every stolen battery. My robotic raptor drones moved around the construction platform like loyal little metal goblins, welding supports and tightening stabilizers while helicopters circled in the distance. News choppers. Already. Excellent. One of the drones projected a live news feed onto a nearby screen. A terrified reporter stood several blocks away behind police barricades. "We're witnessing what appears to be a giant mechanized dinosaur structure rising above downtown Albuquerque. Authorities are urging everyone to evacuate immediately." I nodded proudly. Finally, recognition. I tapped controls across the glowing wrist console. The neuromagnetic Rex driver hummed louder. The skeleton's massive claw twitched. Far below, people screamed and ran through the streets. Somebody dropped tacos. History would remember that sacrifice. Blue electricity surged upward through the tower. The T-Rex skull's eyes ignited like twin spotlights. The entire skeleton moved. Not just a twitch, not just vibration, movement. Ancient bones and magnetic engineering fused together into one towering mechanical nightmare. The Bone Tyrant had awakened. Its massive foot slammed onto the rooftop platform. Crash! Windows exploded across nearby buildings. Car alarms erupted through downtown. The giant tail swung sideways and shattered a billboard advertising smoothies. Honestly, that billboard never stood a chance. I laughed so hard I nearly lost my shades. Yes! This is what museums were missing! The Bone Tyrant roared. Now, technically skeletons can't roar, but when you install military-grade sonic amplifiers into the jaw assembly, problem solved. The sound thundered across the city. Birds exploded from rooftops. People fled in panic. Traffic locked instantly. And standing there above all of it, I felt unstoppable. Then one of the drones screeched a warning. I turned sharply. A grappling line shot upward from the street below and hooked directly onto the Bone Tyrant's ribcage. You have got to be kidding me. Awesome Inn launched upward through the rain like a purple comet. She swung onto the moving skeleton and landed hard against the ribs, while the Bone Tyrant stomped through the downtown streets below. Honestly, insane move. Respect again. The giant mechanical tail whipped sideways toward her. She ducked beneath it and climbed upward across the ribs while sparks exploded around her boots. She climbed onto the dinosaur? I shouted. One of the drones chirped nervously. Exactly, that is not normal behavior. Awesome Inn kept moving upward. Fast, precise, like she already understood the structure. Of course she did. Museum volunteer, right? She knew where the support weaknesses were. Suddenly, she slammed her fist into one of the exposed magnetic stabilizers near the ribcage. Crack. The entire left side of the skeleton lurched violently. Warning sirens erupted across my control screens. No, 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 no. The Bone Tyrant staggered sideways into a parking garage. Concrete exploded outward. Cars tumbled through the air like angry little dominoes. Awesome Inn grabbed a spinal support cable before she could be thrown free. Rain whipped through the skyline while lightning illuminated the entire battle in white flashes. She looked upward, directly toward the skull control chamber where I stood. Even from that distance, I could see the determination behind the mask. Not fear, not panic. Focus. That was becoming a problem. I activated the defense drones immediately. 3 robotic raptors launched onto the skeleton's back and charged toward her. Awesome Inn sprinted across the spine. The city blurred thousands of feet below. One drone lunged. She sidestepped it. Another attacked from the side. She grabbed its tail and swung it directly into the third drone. Metal smashed against metal. The drone spiraled off the Bone Tyrant and disappeared into the streets below. A parked food truck exploded in sparks. Again, tragic sacrifice. Awesome Inn kept climbing, closer now. The storm intensified overhead while warning lights flashed across every control panel around me. The Bone Tyrant roared again and slammed both claws into a nearby office building. Glass rained into the streets below. Helicopters circled overhead, broadcasting the chaos live across the city. And through all of it, Awesome Inn climbed higher, toward me, toward the skull, toward the control chamber. I tightened my gloves slowly. Well then, I muttered. Blue energy crackled around the control console. Guess we're doing this the hard way. Chapter 4. You Can't Stop Cool. Rain hammered against the Bone Tyrant's skull while warning sirens screamed throughout the control chamber. Blue sparks burst from overloaded panels. Outside, the giant mechanical skeleton stomped through downtown Albuquerque like a prehistoric wrecking ball with anger issues. And climbing directly toward me through all of it, Awesome Inn. Honestly, commitment like that deserves a little applause. The skull chamber shook violently as she pulled herself through the fractured maintenance hatch and rolled onto the platform floor. Water dripped from her cape. Her gloves sparked from climbing across overloaded magnetic conduits. She stood slowly, focused, determined, absolutely done with my nonsense. "You have got to stop destroying the city," she shouted over the alarms. I spread my arms dramatically. "Counterpoint," the Bone Tyrant roared outside. "Look at it!" Lightning flashed through the giant eye sockets behind me, illuminating the entire chamber in electric blue. Awesome N stared at the glowing control core in the center of the room. The neuromagnetic Rex driver, the heart of everything. "You've built a giant robot dinosaur," she said. I pointed proudly. "And it works. It's throwing cars." "Progress requires experimentation." The chamber lurched sideways. Somewhere below us, the Bone Tyrant had apparently stepped onto something structurally important. The entire skull groaned. Dust rained from the ceiling. Awesome N planted her feet carefully. "You're going to hurt people." I folded my arms. "I'm giving this city spectacle, excitement, wonder." "You threw a bus." "A little." "A little?" Okay, the bus situation got away from me. Suddenly, the Bone Tyrant staggered hard to the left. Both of us grabbed nearby rails to stay upright. Outside the chamber window, helicopters swerved around the giant snapping jaws while emergency lights flashed across the rain-soaked streets below. Awesome N looked back at me. "You could help people with this technology." I blinked. "What?" "You're smart enough to build all this," she pointed around the chamber. "The drones, the magnet systems, the power core." Then she narrowed her eyes. "But instead you built this." I looked around proudly. "Yes." She groaned loudly into her hands. You are exhausting." The warning alarms intensified. Red lights now flashed beside the blue ones. That felt rude. Awesome N suddenly lunged toward the control core. I reacted instantly. We collided in the center of the chamber, crashing across the metal floor while sparks exploded from overloaded cables nearby. She moved fast, faster than before. One punch barely missed my face and shattered part of the control console behind me. Explosion. Blue sparks erupted everywhere. I pointed immediately. "See? Property damage. Very villain behavior." She spun and kicked the wrist controller from my hand. The remote flew across the chamber and vanished into the sparks below. Okay, that was actually a problem. The Bone Tyrant staggered again. Outside, the mechanical skeleton slammed sideways through the top floor of a parking structure. Concrete exploded into the streets. Awesome N grabbed my coat before I could regain balance. "You have to shut it down." I smirked. "You can't stop, cool." She stared at me for exactly half a second, then punched me directly into a control panel. Honestly, strong punch. The chamber lights flickered wildly. The Bone Tyrant let out another deafening roar. The whole skull shook like it was being hit by a tornado made entirely of bad decisions. Awesome N sprinted toward the glowing power crystal in the center of the chamber. Nope, absolutely not. I tackled her sideways before she could reach it. Both of us slammed against the metal flooring while sparks burst overhead. The crystal pulsed brighter. Overloaded now. Dangerously overloaded. Rainwater leaked into the chamber through cracked panels while warning sirens screamed at maximum volume. Outside, downtown Albuquerque looked like complete chaos. Flashing police lights, destroyed streets, people evacuating, helicopters circling. And somehow, this was still the coolest thing I'd ever built. Awesome N shoved me backward hard enough to send me sliding across the chamber floor. "You have to let this go." I stood slowly. Blue lightning illuminated the chamber behind me. "I spent months building this. You stole half the city. I borrowed aggressively. Another violent tremor shook the skull. The Bone Tyrant's left arm finally tore loose completely and crashed into the street below. The entire skeleton began destabilizing. The crystal started flashing rapidly. Awesome In looked at the core, then back at me, then the core again. And suddenly I realized something horrifying. She had a plan. Oh no. She sprinted. I lunged after her. Too late. Awesome In grabbed the glowing power crystal with both hands as electricity exploded around the chamber. "You can't stop Cool!" I shouted. She grinned beneath the mask. Maybe not. The crystal tore free from the control chamber. The entire Bone Tyrant instantly went silent. Then she looked directly at me. But I can unplug it. Every light died at once, and the giant skeleton beneath us began to collapse. Chapter 5. Legends and Name Tags. You ever fall several stories inside the skull of a collapsing robot dinosaur during a thunderstorm? I do not recommend it. Very loud, very bony, zero dignity. The moment Awesome In ripped the power crystal free, the entire Bone Tyrant died beneath our feet, just instantly. No dramatic slowdown, no graceful shutdown sequence. 1 second I was standing inside the greatest technological achievement Albuquerque had ever seen. The next, the whole thing turned into 12 tons of violently unemployed skeleton. The giant skull tilted sideways. Warning sirens cut out mid-scream. Every magnetic lock released at once. Clank! Crash! Boom! Ribs collapsed inward like giant dominoes, while support beams snapped apart beneath us. Awesome In grabbed a dangling cable and swung clear as the chamber floor gave way. Meanwhile, I was suddenly introduced to gravity on a deeply personal level. I slid across the collapsing control platform while sparks exploded around me. "This feels very unsafe," I yelled. Probably obvious in hindsight. The giant skull crashed through the side of the tower. Rain and city lights exploded around us. For one glorious, horrifying second, I could see all of downtown Albuquerque spread beneath me, while dinosaur bones rained through the streets like prehistoric hail. Then the skull broke apart completely. I dropped straight through a museum delivery banner, bounced off something inflatable, crashed through a plastic display sign, and finally landed face first inside a giant foam pit from the museum gift shop's traveling dinosaur exhibit. Foam triceratops heads everywhere. One squeaked beneath me. I stared upward at the storm in complete silence, then muttered, "This is deeply uncool." Around me, emergency sirens echoed through the city, while pieces of the Bone Tyrant settled harmlessly across blocked-off streets and rooftops. Honestly, could have been worse. At least nothing exploded. Well, nothing important exploded. High above, Awesome In landed safely atop a twisted section of ribcage while helicopters circled overhead. The city erupted into cheers. People pointed upward from the streets below, phones recording, news cameras flashing, kids screaming excitedly. And there she stood in the rain, purple cape snapping dramatically in the wind like the cover of a comic book. I hate how good the visual was. Police lights flooded the area moments later. Apparently, launching a mechanical dinosaur through downtown counts as multiple crimes. Overreaction, if you ask me. One officer finally found me, buried in foam dinosaur merchandise. He blinked down at me. I blinked back. A foam stegosaurus slid slowly off my shoulder. "Sir," he said carefully, "are you Cool Chris?" I adjusted my cracked blue shades. Depends who's asking. 5 minutes later, I was in handcuffs. Terrible accessory choice. By morning, the storm had passed. Sunlight poured across the city while cleanup crews hauled giant dinosaur bones through downtown streets on massive transport trucks. Every news station replayed the same footage. Awesome In climbing the Bone Tyrant, the battle atop the skeleton, the final collapse. The city loved her instantly. Kids wore purple capes. People drew giant N symbols on sidewalks. Someone made a balloon version of the Bone Tyrant downtown, which honestly felt disrespectful to my engineering. Meanwhile, I sat inside a holding cell with terrible coffee and absolutely no appreciation for genius. Still, I couldn't stop smiling, because while everyone else celebrated the end of the story, I knew something they didn't. This wasn't the end, not even close. Across the room, I flipped open my sketchbook and began drawing. Heavy armor plating, rotating horn cannons, tank treads, triple magnetic stabilizers, and at the center of the page, a giant mechanical triceratops. I leaned back slowly and grinned. "Oh yeah," I whispered. "This one's gonna be awesome." Outside the jail window, the city moved on like normal. The museum reopened later that morning. Kids flooded back through the doors, excitedly pointing at the rebuilt T-Rex skeleton. And, quietly walking among them with her volunteer badge once again, was N. Nobody recognized her. Nobody knew the girl answering questions about fossils had saved the entire city the night before. But every once in a while, one of the kids would point toward the dinosaur exhibit and whisper excitedly, "Do you think Awesome N will come back?" N would just smile softly and continue giving the tour, like nothing happened. Like she didn't swing across a giant robot dinosaur during a thunderstorm. Legends are funny like that. Some leave footprints, others wear name tags. And somewhere deep beneath the city, inside a police evidence locker glowing faintly blue, one small piece of Bone Tyrant technology quietly flickered back to life.
Yeah, thunder over Albuquerque. Blue lights in the rain. Some heroes wear masks, some wear capes, and some just clock in for volunteer hours. Museum halls in the midnight rain, blue lights glowing through the window pane. T-Rex bones started rattling loud, cool Chris smiling at the storm clouds.
Kids went home, but the danger stayed. Footsteps echo through the ancient place. Something woke in the shadows blue. History was coming unglued.
One girl jumped through shattered glass, purple cape moving lightning fast.
Whole city froze when she hit the floor. Nothing stayed normal anymore. Legends wear name tags too, standing where the brave break through.
When the whole world runs, they run toward the fight, turning fear into city lights. Nobody knew the truth but a few.
Some leave footprints when the skies turn gray.
Some save the world, then go back to work next day.
Bone Tyrant stomping downtown streets. Sirens echo with the thunder beat. Purple shadows climbing through the rain, trying to stop a runaway train.
Cool Chris laughing in electric light. Robot raptors in the stormy night. Big dreams built from wires and chrome,
trying to build a prehistoric throne.
Heroes rise when the lights burn low, even when nobody ever knows.
One hand reached for the glowing core, then everything shook to the floor. Legends wear name tags too, fighting for the city view.
When the skyline breaks and the sirens spin, hope still rises again.
Blue sparks fading into morning dew.
Kids still lining up for museum tours.
Some wear masks when the night winds blow.
Some smile quiet, and nobody knows. Somewhere deep beneath the city, a blue light flickers back to life.
One battle won, don't end the war. Some stories always ask for more.
And Cool Chris,
Cool never goes extinct. Legends where a name tags two. Legends where a name tags two. Every chapter starts with something true.
when the thunder fades and the skies calm down,
Heroes still walk this town. Purple cape flying through the blue.
one brave heart changed the city view.
Some stories end, but not this way.
'Cause awesome men will rise again.
That'll do, Groove.